Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So today in this particular video we are going to explore one very popular AWS service, and that is Amazon ElastiCache. And I hope from the name itself you can understand what this service basically does. Is nothing but provide us the cache functionality using which we can improve the performance of our system. Right? Now this particular service provides Redis cache or Memcached cache, etc. So in this particular video we are going to explore Redis cache, and for that here I will click on create a new Redis cache, and here design your own cache I will be selecting, and here easy create, let it be as it is. I am choosing the demo because just a POC thing we are implementing. The name I can provide demo YT ElastiCache. Okay. Description let it be as it is. Network type IPv4 fine, and then create a new subnet group. I can choose demo YT cache 3, something like that I can provide. The VPC ID I am going to choose the default VPC of our this region, and the subnet group I am choosing all this keeping default, and without mentioning any tags I am going to create our cache cluster. Okay. So it is going to take few minutes. Till then what we will do to interact with our cache cluster and Python, here I am going to launch one EC2 cluster. Okay. So here I will click on instance running, and here launch instance, and here demo cache YT3, some name I can provide, and here application I am going to choose Amazon Linux machine, and the free tier one I am going to select. And then instance type let it be T2 micro. The key pair value I am going to choose one existing key pair, and here I want to allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic, and keeping other properties default I am going to launch our EC2 cluster. So again it is going to take few seconds. So let's see. So here you can see our EC2 instance is in running state. So we can use putty to have SSH in it. So here I will open putty. I'm going to choose the key pair file, whatever we have selected while launching the EC2 cluster. And here I will click on yes and login as the default login ID. I'm going to choose EC2 user, and here to avoid timeout, here I am going to choose this particular configuration value to 10 seconds. Okay. Now here to interact with ElastiCache cluster and Python, we need this Redis module. So here what I will do, pick3 install Redis. Okay. So here let it get installed. It is done. And now here I can enter in Python 3, and here first we need to set up the connection in between EC2 and Redis cluster using one Redis instance. So for that first we will import this thing, and here we need to provide the endpoint and the port number. Okay. So these values will be getting from this particular cluster once the instance is launched. So here you can see configuration endpoint. Currently it is empty because still the cluster is in creating state. Once the cluster is in ready state, here we will be getting the configuration endpoint option. Okay. So let's explore the other part of the code as of now. So as a first step, what we are going to do, we are going to initialize the Redis cache cluster. So here we need to provide the host endpoint, the port number to initialize the cache. And with this, our cluster will be ready to use. So for example, in our cache, we want to store a key value pair. Suppose key is sportsman and the value is Sachin Tendulkar. Now to store this particular key value pair, we can use redis.set and then key comma value we can pass. So this way, for this sportsman key, the value Sachin Tendulkar will be stored in our ElastiCache cluster. And if you want to get the value for the key sportsman, all you have to do, you have to execute this command redis.get key. So here redis.get sportsman, if we pass, we will be getting the value Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, right? So this is the basic functionality of our cache cluster. And now let us try to understand the TTL and expiry feature of our Redis ElastiCache cluster. So what is that? So most of the time in our services, we implement cache in between our front end and the backend database. So it is like whenever one particular user tries to query some information against our database, they submit a SQL query and our system basically execute the query in the backend database and return the result. for example, select count star from table 1. Okay. So initially what will happen if the user try to execute this particular query? Obviously, as our cache is empty, it will go to backend database directly. It will query this particular information. And suppose the result set we are getting 10. That means there are 10 rows available in this table. Okay. And now what we'll do? Our system will store this particular information that for this query, this is the key and this is the value. This information it will be storing in our ElastiCache cluster. So that way what will happen? Next time, if the user try to fetch the information for the same query, first the system will check whether in our ElastiCache cluster this information is available or not. And if the information is already available in the ElastiCache cluster, it will fetch the information from there and return the information to the user. That way, the system performance will be improved because database querying obviously takes more time than querying in our cache service. Right? So this way I hope you can easily understand that cache system always improves the functionality if our system need to interact with database. Right? But now there is a fallacy or gotcha in this case. So let's consider suppose user initially executed this particular query for which the information is not available in ElastiCache cluster. So what the system will do, it will go to our backend database and it will fetch the information 10 and it will store the information in ElastiCache. So next time if the user query the same, it will directly fetch the information from cache. It will not go to the database and it will return the information 10. Okay. But this particular key value pair information should not be stored in our ElastiCache for infinite time. Because think like this way, what will happen that after 5 minutes in this particular one table in our database, the new rows got inserted and currently there are 15 rows in the table. So what will happen in this case if the user query the same thing? If always the system try to fetch the information from cache, it will again return the value 10, although it is not the correct thing. Because in our backend database, the value got updated to 50, right? So what I am trying to say using this particular example is it is not like we need to store the key value pair in our ElastiCache cluster for infinite time. We should be storing the information in our ElastiCache such that after some time it will be expired. Okay. And after how much time you want to expire, that totally depends on business requirement. But I hope you are getting the feeling that it should not be stored for infinite time. Maybe after 5 or 10 minutes, depending on business requirement, we need to delete this information from cache so that the system will again go to the database. It will fetch the actual information. It will store the updated information in ElastiCache and as well as send the information to the user. So that way in our ElastiCache, the data will be keep on getting refreshed with certain time interval, right? So that how to do? So to do that, we need to use this particular command. Suppose our key is postman and to store the information in our ElastiCache, we need to use redis.set. Okay. Now if we execute this simple command, it will be storing this key value pair for infinite time in our ElastiCache. But what we want? We want to expire this information after certain time. So let's consider after 10 seconds we want to expire this particular key. So we need to execute redis.expire key, 10. So that way after 10 seconds, the information will be deleted from ElastiCache and if you try to get the information using redis.getKey, you will not able to fetch the information, right? So I hope you understood the importance of redis.expire and suppose you want to know one particular key is valid till how much time. For that, you can execute this command redis.ttl key. So this will give you the remaining time after which the key and value will be deleted from ElastiCache. So for that we can use redis.ttl. It is same like our DynamoDB TTL feature time to live concept, right? So I hope you understood these fundamental concepts. Now we'll try to implement all of them once our cluster is in ready state. So still it is creating. Let's wait for a few seconds. And till then what I will do, I will launch on MySQL database as well so that I can show you the database caching feature. That initially user will try to query some information. If it is not available in ElastiCache, the system will first query the database and fetch the information. It will return to the user as well as it will store the information to ElastiCache with certain expiry time. And after that, if the user query the same information, it will quickly get the information from cache and return. So the time complexity will decrease, right? And the system performance will improve. So that particular scenario also I want to show you. So for that, I am going to launch one MySQL database as well. So here I can choose RTS. And here I can click on database and create database. And then here I can choose MySQL system. And then here let the engine as it is. I am going to show you a demo. So free tier I am choosing. Database instance name, let it be as it is. The username is admin. So I will store this. So here the username is admin and the password I can put admin123. Okay. So master password and confirm master password I will put the same here. So here we have configured and then here let it be T2 micro. Allocated storage let it be as it is. I can expand this. The auto scaling not needed. And here don't connect to EC2, that is fine. Publicly accessible, yes. And here keeping all other properties as default, I will create the database. So here I can close this particular option. And here our database is getting created. So let's wait for some time. So here now our Redis cache cluster is ready. So I can click on that and here you will be getting the configuration endpoint. So I'll copy this endpoint and I'll paste that here. And the Redis port also you need to provide, which is 6379. So I'm going to choose that. And here we are ready to create our Redis cache system. So I'll paste the code and I'll hit an enter. And with this, our Redis cache is initialized. Now, suppose I want to store this key value pair in our cluster. All we have to do is redis.set key comma value. So here let's execute this. And here it is returning true. That means this information is safe in our Redis cache cluster. So suppose we want to get the information for this key. Here if I just run, here you will see quickly it is returning the information Sachin Tendulkar, because here for the key this is the value. So because we are fetching the information from cache, it is kind of in-memory RAM kind of thing. So it is ultra fast. And that we can easily understand that as soon as we are querying, we are getting the result. Right? Now here we have not configured any expiration value for this key. So ideally what will happen in this case, the key will never be expiring. The value will be always there. Whenever you query for this key Sportsman, if you try to fetch the information using redis.get, you will get the data. So that if you want to verify, you can use redis.ttl. And if I just run here, you will be getting -1. So -1 is indicating it is not having any TTL value configured. So it will be there for infinite duration. But suppose you want to expire this particular key after 10 seconds. So then you can use redis.expire command. So what will happen? I will just execute and it return true. That means after 10 seconds, it will be automatically deleted. So if I execute redis.ttl now, we will be getting the value 5. Suppose I am extracting using redis.get key. See, here you will not get the information because already 10 seconds is over in the meantime and this particular key is expired from our ElastiCache cluster. So I hope the fundamental concept of expiry and TTL is clear to you. And then again, if I execute redis.ttl key, here you will be getting the value in negative. That means already for this particular key, the time is over, it got expired, right? So here if I execute again, here you will get the same negative value. Okay, and redis.get will not work because the information is expired. So this is the fundamental concept of Redis. And now what we will do, we will try to implement this cache functionality for our database. Okay, so here let's see whether our database is ready or not. So here our database also is now available. So I can enter in it and fetch the endpoint information. And here I am going to use MySQL workbench to connect with this particular database. Okay. So here I will click on new connection. Connection name, cache testing, and the host name I am going to put the value from the AWS. The port let it be as it is. Username and password I am going to choose whatever I have configured earlier. So username is this and password is this. Okay, and test connection. So here you can see it is showing successfully made MySQL connection. Okay, and click on OK. So here I can open this particular connection, and what I will do, I will basically create a schema. Within that I am going to create a table and I am going to insert some query in it. Okay, so all these queries I will be sharing in the description box or in the comment section, so that you can parallelly practice with these samples. Okay. here I'll choose this whole thing and paste here. Let's create this schema and table, and then I will insert all this information. So here let the information get ingested. Till then we'll explore the Python code. So here first, to interact with Redis, I need to install the Redis module, what we have already done, and to connect with MySQL programmatically we need PyMySQL. Okay. Time to leave we are configuring that after 30 seconds the cache data should be deleted. The Redis endpoint we need to configure. So in this case, the endpoint here we are having this value. I will paste that here. Sorry, this is database endpoint. So I'll just put the database endpoint here, and database username, password, and database name I am keeping as it is, and Redis port, Redis endpoint. So in our case, Redis endpoint is this value. I'll choose that. And here I will update. Okay, so Redis endpoint, Redis port is done. Database username and password we have configured based on our RDS instance, and DB name Sattu schema. So here if you see the schema whatever we have created, that is Sattu schema. So within that our table is available. So I am providing that thing as DB name. And here we are setting up the MySQL connection, and here we have written a simple function which is going to execute an SQL query in our database and going to fetch the result set. Here we are initializing the Redis cache, and here we are having the function fetch. So what it will do, whenever user try to execute certain SQL query, first it will check whether the information is available in Redis cache cluster or not. If it is not available, it will query in our database, but if it is available, it will fetch the information from the cache cluster and share to user. And if it is not available, it will query the database, fetch the information, return to the user, as well as it will store the information in ElastiCache for the next 30 seconds. If the user query the same SQL command, it will return the result from cache. That way, our system will be improved again and again. No need to go to the backend database, right? So def fetch SQL. So first we are trying to find out this SQL query as a key available in our ElastiCache or not. If available, here we are printing the data is available in cache, we are returning it. Else we are printing the data is not available. We are having a sleep time. I will explain why I have configured this sleep time. And then here we are basically executing the SQL query using record function, whatever we have created against our database, and we are fetching the information. We are printing the result, and we are also configuring the same information in our ElastiCache cluster. And we are configuring the expiry time of 30 seconds. So here you can see the TTL value we have configured of 30 seconds, right? And now you might think why I have given sleep 10, just to show you that here if we query the database, it is going to take some time, right? So maybe if we don't provide sleep time because our dataset is small, so we might not able to understand the performance difference when it is getting the result from cache or when it is getting the result from database. So what I have done, I have intentionally created a sleep or long pause when it is directly querying the database. So that way we will be able to understand that cache is improving the performance, right? And here calling the main function, and here we are expecting the SQL query as argument. If the argument is not available, we are printing that argument needed and we are exiting the code. And if the argument is available, we are executing the fetch function to get the information either from cache or database. And we are also printing the time taken to run the code. Okay, right? So here this is our code. I hope pretty much you understood. Here what I will do, I will just exit this particular Python shell, and here vi script.py I will execute, and I'll paste my code, and here I will do write and print. Okay. Now execute ls. Here you will see our script.py is available. But before starting the code, we need to make sure PyMySQL and Redis is available. So here I will execute click3 install Redis and PyMySQL. Okay, right? So here it is installed, and now we are ready to run our Python code. So how our Python code we should run? We should run like this. So Python script.py, and here SQL query we need to pass. So let's go to our MySQL system, and for example, we want to execute this query: select star from person table where the column name. What is the column name? The full name equal to this value. Okay. And here the last column is, I think, city. So let's consider we want to fetch only the city part. If I execute this query, here you will see no database selected. So here what I will do, I will just put the database name as well. Then I'll run it again. So here it is fetching the information. You have seen it took some time and it is returning the result New Year, because for this name the city is New Year. So suppose this query I want to execute. So here what we have to do, Python 3 script.py, and here we need to pass the query what we want to execute. So here we can put inside double quotation, and here initially the information is not available in Redis cache, so it will go to the database, it will query, it will get the result set, it will store that in cache with the TTL of 30 seconds, and then it will return the result set. And because it is not available in cache, so sleep 10 seconds will be executed, which will obviously take some time, and that we can easily understand. So here you can see data is not available in cache, querying the database. So it is taking some time. Once it fetches the result, it will store in cache, and then it will return how much time it has taken. So time taken 10 seconds you can see. Now here this time for this SQL query the result is already stored in cache. Now if I execute this same query again, you can see very quickly within 0.004 seconds we are getting the result set. So again if I query here, till now the data is available in cache, but soon once the 30 seconds will be over, the data will be deleted from cache, and again it is going to fetch the information from our database and store in cache. So obviously it is going to take some time. So here you can see now it is printing data is not available in cache and it is querying the database, right? So let it run. Till then let's experiment with another name. So let's consider this name. So we'll execute with this command as well. So here you can see that now if I query, it is quickly returning, and here if I query with some other name, you will observe the same thing happening. So here if I execute, so initially this information for this full name is not available in cache, so it will go to the actual database and it will store the information in our ElastiCache, right? So here it has executed. Now if I execute for the same query, here it will fetch the information from cache. But because 30 seconds is over for our first example, we will see if I query with this Muhammad Amir, again it will show the data is not available in cache, querying the database. So this is how in any system we can implement the cache functionality in front of our database. So what it is doing, first it is checking in cache whether the information is available or not. If it is available, it will quickly query from the cache and the time taken will be very less. But after some time we want to expand the information from cache as well, so that always our cache will be having updated information, right? And this way for any system you can improve the performance with ElastiCache. So I hope you understood this particular code, and the SQL queries I'll be providing in the description box or in the comment section. Try to play with it, try to do some hands-on. That way you'll be getting better understanding out of it. This is all for this video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment. Subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.